We are talking and understanding a very important step towards our evolution, and it is known as upasana, or sometime it is known as bhakti, sometime it is also known as love for the sake of love. And the goal is emotional freedom. Goal is to remove restlessness of the mind. That is the goal. So, after removing the impurities of the mind, the restlessness, projections in the mind remain present. And these projection blocks to realize the higher consciousness. Now understand by metaphor, we go to a shop and we don't say, I want to buy gold. We say, I want to buy gold ring, gold necklace, gold bracelet. Gold is always before the name and the form. Clear? It's not uh, but it's a beautiful principle. Gold is before every name in the form. So if the gold is before every name in the form, that means ring, necklace, bracelet, and other stuff, nose pin, etc., they continue to exist. The name and the form continue to exist, but the gold is the essence. Clear? And now comes the magic. Do I remember the real self before I talk to Stephen, Brandy, Ashok, Anastasia? Gold before the gold ring. Self before the self is before. So it has to happen in my mind. That brings the emotional freedom. Are you understanding? Using the same. So we see the infinite. How are you, Brandy? And instantly, that selfhood is always there. How do you define yourself? Make it little more clear. How do you define yourself? When you say I, myself, it means myself. When you say he, himself. When you say she, herself. Are you getting it? I'm going deeper. Even if you don't get it, say yes, so that you can just continue. I say you, yourself. I, myself. He, herself. So that self, you remove I, my, me, her, him. What is left is the self. So that self is always present. It is silent. We simply go to the shop. Oh, can you show me this ring, this necklace? But we mean gold. So when I say, when I see, when I say, when I see, when I see the self first, then the name in the form. So I'm not attached to the name in the form. But I'm using the name in the form. Is the secret of prayer, worship in all the religions. We all say Jesus, Moses, Krishna, Buddha, they are infinite, they are all pervading. We talk about it, they are omniscient. Are you getting it? So we are pointing to that self. Otherwise, they all are human, they have a human frame, they have a name, they have a form. Are you getting it? Jesus, Moses, Krishna, Buddha, we say omniscient, omnipresent. Every God is omniscient and omnipresent. Is it not so? So we divide them. Now, my God is omniscient, your God may be omniscient. So we don't go to the religion. There is a big problem with that. Why it's a big problem? You are Christian and I'm Jews and you are Hindu and you are Muslim. We forget that self in every human being. So when I discover the self is common, I myself, you yourself, he himself, she herself, are you understanding? The seeker finds the perception of the self. Seeker finds the gold in all, the self in all, and that brings the emotional freedom. That removes all the projections. You understand? Say yes. It's a beautiful principle. I'll continue with a couple of more sessions to make you understand. So now, once I have understood this principle, what is the journey? The name in the form of a Stephen or Barbara is not going to change, but my knowledge, my level of awareness will change inside. My mind will not be carried away by the projections of the name in the form of a Stephen or Barbara or Brandy or Vaibhav. It will remain naturally focused on the self that is full of knowledge, that will bring the emotional freedom. I will still be talking like Stephen, Brandy, etc., etc. That is what we do when we go to the church or a temple or a mosque or synagogue. That is what exactly we do. So another magic that takes place. Where? In myself, in my head. That I see you are the representation of that self. That self is manifesting as a Stephen, the self is manifesting as a Barbara, self is manifesting as Sangeeta. Now check the state of the mind. That's why, see, can I say that we go a step above all the religions? We don't oppose them. We don't oppose them. There's nothing to oppose. Why should we oppose? Are you getting it? We go a step above. We don't say my God and your God. We say only oneself is manifesting in Brandy, in Stephen, in Barbara, in Sandita. That is the secret of Upasana, sitting nearby. That in every communication, I am aware. I am aware. So when I am aware, I don't carry the baggage of emotional bondage with anyone. Did I tell you, do you remember? I went to the Methodist church in New Jersey, and they asked me to talk about mindfulness. So I started staring at Jesus, and they said, "What you're staring?" I said, My guru is manifesting through your God. Name and the form are temporary. Do you see that? Name and the form are temporary. What is behind that self? That is why I use the word myself, yourself, himself, herself. What is common? Self. What is common in a ring, necklace, gold? So what happens? You drop that emotional baggage. The person is with you for 20 years, and the next day you say, I'm leaving you. Thank you. Thank you. That's all. I still love you. Because I don't love that name in the form. So I don't create any emotional baggage. Think. That is the secret of what we use the word upasana, bhaj. Bible? That is not bhajan ki wo ताली वाली उठा के अपना लगाते रहे. That is not bhajan. Are you getting it? So I still communicate to Barbara, I still communicate to Stephen, I still communicate to the Brandy, but my perception, my knowledge inside my head has changed. So that does not create a sense of attachment. It liberates me. I see that self is manifesting in you, which is all pervading, which is omniscient, which is full of knowledge. That is what do. So what happens? You're constantly moving in love, in kindness, in compassion. It takes time. It's not a one-day affair. But gradually what happens, you get a sense of emotional freedom. You allow that self, instead of our ego, to work in our daily life. Did you understand? So don't get offended when I say we go a step above all the religious gods and goddesses. But it does not mean we refuse them. Someone says Jesus is that. Yes, you're right. But I see in you, I see in my honey, I see in my son, I see in my daughter, I see in my parents. Do you see that emotional freedom? Do you see that? Because that self is already there. That's why you use I. I means myself. You means yourself. He means himself. She means herself. So self is common. Gold is common. Should I tell you the naked truth? The gods of all the religions do not say anything, do not communicate with us. So we have an easy way to say any damn thing to the God. And here we don't see that God is a living being. In my house, in every relationship, so there is a problem. Why there is a problem? There is an agreement, there is a disagreement, there is an attachment, there is a detachment, there is a sense of anxiety, there is a reaction. That creates the emotional bondage. And that emotional bondage continues, creates a lot of projections. Don't you see that may be one of the many reasons of a constantly increasing divorce, rift in our relationship? It's very easy to go to a God and say, why don't you listen to me? Because God is not speaking. Here, every God is speaking. Here, every God and Goddess is speaking. It is a right opportunity in the world to bring that emotional freedom. That is the magic of this world which we normally use, known as upasana. Upasana. Sitting nearby. Sitting nearby the self. It means I become aware of the self in you, self here, self in all. All is self. Go back to the same metaphor. All is gold. But when you go to the shop, you ask them to show me the ring or necklace or nose pin or etc. etc. We continue to do that. Can we do it? So there is another step. This upasana and bhakti, what we say, these two words have progressed for the last almost 3 to 4 thousand years. Our masters has evolved this principle into an applied principle in our daily life. You are married, you are meeting your honey, the self is manifesting as honey. So that sense of pure emotion goes to the honey. You are meeting your son, so the relationship of the self with the son and father, son and the mother is introduced in my mind. To make myself totally free from the emotional baggage. I wonder if the concepts of all the religion have come from these simple principles, but they have become very limited in their scope. Lot of issues and challenges are there, but here there is no challenge. We want to change ourselves inside. Our goal is emotional freedom, removing the projection, removing the restlessness of the mind. So we'll talk about it. There are five, yeah, five. So how to bring that upasana again in our day-to-day living, so that the morning I wake up and my impulsive nature, because of the past impressions that I have accumulated, is being expressed in different relationship with the honey, relationship with lot of people having different relationship. So our master says that there are five types of emotion. One emotion is the emotion of peace. That is impersonal. That has no name in the form. So that takes time to reach. Second emotion is the emotion, a relationship between the master and a servant. It is known as the Dasya Bhava. We go to all the gods and goddesses, you are my master, give me something. Master says, first do this and then I come back to me. Otherwise, I am not listening to you. So that kind of a relationship means there are three words. What I am, think of it, contemplate. What I am, what I have, what I possess, all belongs to you. You are omniscient. You are omnipresent. You do what is best for me. I will do my work, my part. No? That relationship. Third relationship is between how the mother loves their kids, their babies. Vatsalya mat. So, as a father, as a mother, can I, or as an elder, as a teacher, can I invoke that emotion, that feeling? Fourth emotion is the emotion of love with the equals. We all are equals. We pass on that love of friendship. And the fifth one that progresses into love for the sake of love. The self goal is for the sake of good. That is the pinnacle, the summit of this emotional freedom. So this upasana or the bhakti helps us to expand the mind. Do not live with the narrowness, with the limitedness of the mind, of the name and the form. Limited. We get limited when we say, honey, you don't love me and I don't love you. So soulmate and sourmate, and then we have a lot of problem with everyone. With everyone. You should be ready. You should be sending all your queries and questions either in your email, or you should be asking those questions in these live sessions to remove the doubt, to remove that confusion. I know it happens because we carry such a strong, heavy emotional baggage in our relationship that whatever you want to do, you wake up in the morning, the mind is full of that baggage. And then we react impulsively and instinctively. Right, because that baggage has to create a reaction or anxiety or a duality or a conflict. And until that emotional baggage is gone, we cannot evolve, we cannot awaken ourselves to the highest state. We are working for that. So, last point today, I am reminding you there is an object of attachment in our emotion. Honey, object of attachment is the one because we are deeply attached, either positive or negative way. The way you wake up in the morning, first thing you remember, honey. I saw a couple, I told you that I went there last year. So I stayed with them for about an hour, and that couple kissed themselves at least 50 times in 1 hour. But they were talking of their differences. That is why they had invited. They had lot of differences. They were going against each other. They were almost on the verge of a divorce. So first is the object of attachment. For example, don't misunderstand, otherwise you misunderstanding is again coming from the emotions. So I'm with Stephen. So I love Stephen. So that's why I told you that don't misunderstand him. US, mind goes where you don't know. So object of attachment is Stephen. So when there is an object of attachment, the mind, that emotion, we feel inside the heart. Second point, so the mind thinks about that sense of attachment. So where we think with reference to the self, we don't think with reference to the Stephen. That is what we do. We say, I will buy the gold ring. Or show me the ring. And the shopkeeper shows you the iron ring. Object of attachment. Remember. Any object. So that is what our religions are doing. All the religions, with due respect and love with them. No, love Jesus, love Krishna, love Buddha, love Moses. Do you see that? In that object, in that frame, in that God of the name in the form, all the religions asks us to see they are omnipresent, they are omniscient, they are all knowing. Do you agree up to that point? So what we are doing, we see the self here. Why to meet the God who doesn't communicate with me? Why shouldn't I meet the God and goddesses every day? every day in my relationship. Can you imagine what is going to happen to your emotional freedom? Let us close your eyes. Let us start with our journey. We will practice. We'll understand all these things step by step. But now it's a time has come that you should be practicing and asking the questions, removing all the doubt. Eyes are closed, body is comfortable, moving the mind on all the joints of the body with awareness that this body gives me the name and the form, but the self is inside. So moving the mind from all the joints, the neck joint, shoulders, and hips. Pick up all the joints, feel the sensation, comfort, and steadiness. Sensation, comfort, and steadiness. And being carefree. Carefree with the thoughts, feeling. You see, unwelcome, unwanted thought enters into the mind because of the corresponding impressions are already stored in your mind. And that is the point we want to change, to get rid of this restlessness, projections. So we are carefree, free from all the cares that these thoughts, with association of the feeling and the emotions, you can check, your body will remain steady. Your mind will not wander anywhere. I'm summarizing being comfortable and carefree. We have understood and we have practiced in more than 50 different ways. And then, because I should be emotional with the mantra, you see, it's totally an abstract. But that changes our emotions. Sarve Sham Swastir Bhavatu. Sarvesham Swastir Bhavatu. Sarvesham Swastir Bhavatu. Let there be a well-being for all. Now you see, you are using this thought to invoke the emotion. Mind says, I want well being for my own relations in the family, not for anyone. So you are cheating God of a religion. But here we are not talking the God. We associate emotions with this thought, let there be a well being for all. So my emotions breaks all the limitations with the knowledge that everyone is seeking well-being. Why shouldn't I feel for them, think for them, contemplate and reflect? Why I should reflect for them? To get rid of that emotional narrowness, emotional bondage. Why? To remove the projections. And that will not happen with due respect to all the religions, because the God does not communicate with us. We see that God in every being. We see that self. Oh, everyone is seeking well-being. Sarvesham Shantir Bhavatu. Sarvesham Shantir Bhavatu. Sarvesham Shantir Bhavatu. Let there be peace for all. It takes time to reach to that state by regular practice. Let there be peace for all, peace for all, every being on this earth. You see, you are thinking, and so what happens that peace in your mind and emotions, in your intellect as a knowledge and a feeling, that peace is experienced as peacefulness. You know, you are kind. No. When we get the emotional freedom, a state of kindness prevails. Like sweetness of a sugar. Ness, hood, selfhood. That is the meaning. Sarvesham Purnam Bhavatu. Sarvesham Purnam Bhavatu. Sarvesham Purnam Bhavatu. Let there be completeness in all. You see, just check. I know in the beginning the mind is confused and it blocks. But a regular practice with awareness and attention will make you realize from where the blockage comes, and that blockage is the emotional bondage. Sarvesham Mangalam Bhavatu. Sarvesham Mangalam Bhavatu. Sarvesham Mangalam Bhavatu. Let there be auspiciousness for all. Auspiciousness when the peacefulness, when the completeness, when the well-beingness, they all bring the real self in front. They all bring an awareness of the gold in front, and still we are talking of ring and bracelet necklace. It brings that sense of auspiciousness first, and then I see the relationship between me and my honey, me and my son and daughter, me and my friends, and so on. We will not leave the purification of the mind. Now, it has become very easy for you to look deep inside the heart in the space. Continue dropping Om Shanti with love and care. Om Shanti. Om Shanti. Check your body remains in the state of steadiness. And start breathing, quick and gentle breathing from both the nostrils into the rib cage. Om Shanti. All the 4 or 5 layers, you are aware of that. Om Shanti. Om is the real self. Shanti is the peace. With that awareness, mind is dropping, breath is quick and gentle, breathing continues, body remains steady, and you continue the journey. So what is going to happen? You'll find the mind remains within. It lives within. Continue. Steadiness in the body, breath continues. Mind keeps on dropping Om Shanti inside. The intellect knows the meaning to prevent the mind to go back to its impulsive nature. And everything is happening in a casual and a natural manner. And stop this. Start with the nyasa. Deep silence and slow breathing as you inhale. The mind moves from the crown of the head to the tailbone. Mind is singing Om Shanti. Your Shanti drops at the tailbone while inhaling. While exhaling, you start again with Om Shanti, and the Shanti drops at the top of the head. While exhaling, body remains steady. Breath is deep, silent, and slow, and Om Shanti continues. You discover a sense of total stillness. The mind keeps on living within, and you are expanding. You are breaking that emotional barrier. That is also the nyasa is done. Shanti. You're singing. I mean to say, manful singing, we just invoking the emotion. We have to correct those emotions. That's what I told you. So even the nyasa is going to help. And I'll stop this big awareness of the body, experience, sensation, relaxation, and stillness. awareness of the breath that gives a feel as if we are moving the mind with it. I'm using the word as if we feel. So you're looking at the breath going in and out, and the mind is not distracted. That is why we did the previous steps. Looking deeper than the breath is the sense of the calmness and the quietness, as if we are able to see deep inside the heart. And now we will use the step of Upasana. All remember the three things: image, location, word or the thought or the mantra, and self or the goal here, if I say. So through the image, we perceive, through the ring and necklace, we take it for granted 100%. It is the self and manifestation of the self. So location, look inside the heart in the space. Don't tell me to whom you are attached. You can visualize that image of that person inside your heart. Well, if your mind claims I am not attached, obviously you can see the image of the God that you cherish, that you love, that you adore, that you worship. That is also okay. No issue. We're not becoming religious, we are becoming spiritual. So once you see that image, your mind moves from the toes of that image to the top of the head, slowly, gently, while you are thinking. We will use the mantra later. But you are thinking what I am, what I have, what I possess, addressing to the image, all belongs to you. So when I offer what I am, what I have, what I possess, all my emotions also goes to him or her. A sense of freedom, a sense of liberation takes over. Again, I'm making you understand. Understand it clearly. When I go and say that, can you show me the ring or a necklace? We mean gold. We don't say it. So here when we are looking at the image, we mean the self. So now we are asking the mind to play with me inside the heart, image, then the mantra in terms of the thought, what I am. You just say what I am and become aware what you are. You see the emotion and the intellect say I'm more intelligent than you. So there the emotional barrier is there. That's why what I am. What I have, the body, the mind, the breath, the intellect, some cherished emotions, what I possess, outside in terms of possessions. All belongs to you. So that you is the self personified as an image. It doesn't make any difference whether you have an image of your fiancé or your mother or your son or your dad or anyone whom with whom you are attached. We are asking the mind, you are attached with that? No issue. But this attachment is breaking the emotional limitation. What I am, what I have, what I possess, all belongs to you. So, what result I am expecting? I am expecting the best, the greatest, the highest result. Trillions of impressions of what I am accumulated over years in our relationship, prevented by an idea of what I have and possess, another set of emotions, blocks, creates a rift. That's what I am, what I have, what I possess. I found it so liberating in my life. You see that image, but at the same time, you are seeing the self. Why you offer what I am, what I have, what I possess, that is the self. Self is omniscient, all pervading, pure consciousness, all knowledge, all love. That self is the sweetness of a sugar. That sugar is the image, and the sweetness is the self. It takes time, but more clarity you have, transformation takes place. Now I have done it, and then what should I do? What you do when you are attached to someone? That sense of attachment lives in your mind. Is it living in your mind? You see, you have to remove all the doubts because mind is a heavily conditioned to perceive and see people in our relationship with an emotional baggage. Vipassana helps us to transcend the mind. It's a real perception of transcending the mind. What do you mean by transcending the mind? Gold, emphasis, ring. So I transcended the ring. Self, I'm just giving you some bites. Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. We'll share our experiences, but first bring your mind to the right hand, then to the left hand, and lift your both the palms, place it on your eyes, open the eyes inside. Ask yourself, what happened? What are your doubts? Not only you share your experiences, but also remove your doubts. Bring your hands down. How are you, Stephen?
Oh, that was pretty intense. I'm good. I've got a lot going on in my head as it relates to all of this. On Monday, we talked about. I've been contemplating, reflecting a lot on Monday's lesson in regards to putting discernment in front of contemplation and reflection when you're through this awareness and understanding in order to lead to this emotional freedom. And I noticed the last few days that I've been successful at doing that.
Good.
But it has led me to feel this emotional freedom for myself. But with the people that I'm around, I recognize their emotional attachment. And it's all I keep thinking about, which then I think is my emotional attachment myself. So I don't have emotional freedom because I'm stuck in watching everybody else's emotional attachment. Am I thinking that the right way? I mean, do I have to separate that?
Yes, the greater the emotional freedom we have, mind, because in that state of purity, recognizes the emotional attachment of others towards us. So we just maintain the silence. We ask the mind to go back and enjoy that emotional freedom. Simply again and again and again. So, what is going to happen at a higher stage? Your expression, your attitude is going to change, and the people around you will realize the way you are responding to them, and there is no chance of any emotional attachment. So go slowly, go slowly, because if we go fast, you have become a great meditator. You think, well, people will respond. That is the reaction to the emotional bondage. What do you think about yourself?
Mm-hmm. Makes sense. As far as the meditation goes, I found the fast breathing to be peaceful and effortless and an absolute joy today. it was like I didn't want to come out of it. And then the same thing with the Nyasa. And what was I found interesting getting to and I know I've talked a lot on this. As the Nyasa finished, I started knowing that we're heading towards the heart center. I felt this intense vibration in my heart. And I started focusing, I said, in my mind, I said, here's a triangle. And the triangle wasn't there. I actually immediately saw Buddha. And then when you said the image, this intensity just started taking place, and I had chills through my entire body. And then I was so focused in on the image, and I was told that all of a sudden that image turned into myself, and it all went away. Like the intensity that I was feeling was gone. The coldness was gone, and I was just settled in the silence, which I felt was pretty cool.
What a beautiful experience. So what happens? We have an experience, if I use the word ecstasy, a sense of emotional freedom, thrills. It fills with all the pure emotions. You have not only variety of experiences that these images appear and they drop and dissolve in us, or we dissolve in them. So that is definitely a sense of an emotional freedom. We also have unusual experiences. Sometimes we feel as if my body is becoming bigger and bigger and bigger, and it is merging all the people around me with I have an attachment, and as if they are living within me, or I'm living each one of them. So these are the different indications of the changes that takes place. Sometimes I used to feel that I'm inside my master like a baby, and sometimes I feel that my master is within my heart, constantly guiding me. So it's a tool. We are using the tool. I should not say God. Religions also uses the tool. Otherwise, those who are religious will be offended. With due respect, how are you, Brandy?
I'm fine, thank you. Good morning. My meditation was relaxing. It was peaceful. I was thinking a little bit during the lesson and even during the meditation about forgiveness. And so obviously I'm maybe giving away my religious background, but it's really easy to think about forgiving, like the name and the form, when you can find that separation
Yeah.
of the goal. Mixing your metaphors here. So and that's I think where the freedom is, which is nice.
Yes, yes. You see that, Brandy, that all the religions are using these tools, intellectual tools. Seek forgiveness, seek confession, be kind, be non-violent. So that is definitely at the intellectual level when we contemplate on that with reference to an image. Image means with reference to a person with whom we are attached or who have reacted. It may bring the result. So, but what happened perhaps in your case that you instantly told that I saw the gold. So the moment I see the gold, that idea of the forgiveness becomes so little. When I see the gold everywhere, where is the question of forgiveness? I'm already moving into that state of kindness. You see, so it goes little beyond religious practices, which is common almost, except the image, except the word of name in the form, if you see clearly. How are you, Barbara?
I'm very good, thank you. when I was concentrating on the person that I felt an attachment to, I felt almost a lightness and a release.
I like this.
And it really was good. It was really good. I have a question.
Yeah.
And the question is it right to think in terms of my real self, or is there only one real self of which I'm a part of?
Very good question. I think I have answered it directly. When I say I, so it is myself. When I say you, yourself, he, himself, she, herself, so what is common? Self. And that self is always one. That self cannot be two. It is only pure consciousness. It is only one self. So, what is happening is that it is only one gold in every ring, bracelet, necklace. It is the same gold, appears in different name in the form. So the mind should be able to perceive oneself in me, and in the image I perceive in my heart, emotional freedom is there. There is only one. It takes time. Gradually, when we do it, and you rightly said that you felt lightness, that's really wonderful. How are you, Vaibhav?
So I'm good. It was calm and relaxing, peaceful.
Calm and relaxing, yeah. I tell you that we always, I will talk later. How are you, Ashok?
Namaste, sir.
Namaste, sir.
Sir, all good, peace and calm,
Peace and
very
calm.
quiet, very quiet.
Yeah. See, your honey is her name is Shivani. Shivani is the name of a goddess. Your work is easy. So, how are you, Sangeeta?
सर बहुत बहुत अच्छा था और जैसे सर स्टीफन ने बताया और आपने भी बताया तो वैसी फीलिंग्स होती हैं कि गुरुदेव के साथ वैसा रिलेशन
हाँ,
कई बार
हाँ.
फील
Yeah, Sangeeta is recalling her relationship with our master. She used to go there, so she used to have the same feeling as the master is totally sitting inside the heart and has taken over my name in the form. Can you imagine? As a name in the form, you are non existent. So then what is left? Only love. That is what the Jesus says love is God. I will talk later. How are you, Anesthesia?
Thank you. I'm good. It was very deep and sensational. I've felt always that my breathing was very smooth and very good. And during concentration on a person who I'm attached to, I felt always goosebumps, like
Okay.
during all time.
Yeah.
And yeah, it was like being in an empty room.
Emptiness. That is beautiful. We have to continuously and consciously check with the image we are attached to. I told you that is very important principle. I'll elaborate in detail in the following sessions. When I say what I am, what I have, what I possess, all belongs to you. I have dropped the entire emotional baggage. But then our mind creates a subtle ego which says, why should I say all belongs to you? You have not given me anything. So there the emotional baggage returns. Because I'm expecting something through my emotions that creates an emotional baggage. Are you getting it? That creates an emotional bondage, emotional dependence, that I have lot of expectations from you. So in love there is no emotion, and that is why you see that prayers of all the religions have something in common. Do you see that something in common? And that common element is that I should lose my identity created by the ego that creates the emotional bondage. And I can tell you, you have already, everyone might have told me something great. You know, it makes you feel so light, as if you have started flying. That sense of kindness, that sense of compassion. Yes, my friends, any question? And making us bore, it's enough is enough. Let us say.
Namaste, everyone. Namaste, sir. Jai Gurudev.
Namaste. Thank
Thank
you.
you, sir. Namaste.